2022 is going to be a good year. Or at least that's what I keep telling myself, and for some reason I feel like if I tell myself that, it'll make it more likely that it'll be true, but that's also just something that I'm telling myself. Is that an optimistic or a pessimistic way to start this video? Hello, it's Jen. Welcome to my channel. You get one last video with the Christmas tree. I also turned on the party rock. You guys know that this is a really big time in my life. I am obviously super pregnant. Here it comes. Ugh. Girly is welcome to come anytime after tomorrow. So like literally if I went into labor right now, it would be fine. And that is awesome. But it's also got my mind racing about a million things, stuff I want to do. The holidays and the new year in general also kind of get me in that mood. You know, everybody goes into New Year's resolution mode. You guys know I also have my pseudotumor. My pseudotumor is a big problem. I've been needing to be very gentle with treatment for it, but once I'm not pregnant anymore, there will be options for me that were not options now. So it's just crossroads everywhere, and I need to figure out where I'm going. So let's talk about moving forward into 2022. Here are some of my plans and what I'm going to talk about in today's video. 1. Survive childbirth. And then I have to take it easy and actually give myself time to recover. 2. Channel updates. Everything momming with migraine. So I want to talk to you about not just YouTube, but also my plans for Instagram and Patreon going into the new year. 3. What was number 3? Retraining Buddy. So Buddy is my service dog. I'm not talking about training my service dog, but I'm talking about retraining and refreshing my service dog's training. We'll get into the details of all of that after the song. All right, let's just go in order. Number 1 was survive childbirth. Take it easy, take time to heal. There was a lot physically and mentally that happened with the last childbirth. Now I am 37 weeks now with baby number 2. In my time, she is welcome to come anytime, tomorrow or later. So by the time you are watching this video, baby girl is welcome anytime. Please, be born, we're ready for ya, let's go. So that's really exciting. But I also know that I'm at risk for some of the things that happened last time to happen again this time. And I'm also at risk for things that didn't happen last time to happen this time. So that's going to be its own separate video. Talking about that and talking about my pseudotumor and what could change after the childbirth. And the steps that I'm taking to prepare for all of it mentally, physically. Spoiler alert. Not as many as I probably should be taking because I still haven't even packed a hospital bag. Alright. Anyway, more on that in January. My health, physical, mental health, brain health, baby health, postpartum mom stuff, that is all going to be in a separate video because that's just such a big topic. That'll be in January. Assuming all this doesn't get in the way of it. Number 2, over here. There isn't number 2 over here. That was stupid. There is no number 2 in my office. Channel updates. These are fast, so I wanted to do them first. This one I broke up into 3 things. I broke it up into YouTube, Instagram, and Patreon. When I started my YouTube channel, I had 3 categories that I sort of rotated through. I did migraine, service dog, and, come on brain, POTS or like other, as my kind of for fun category or stick out my feelers category. But I had general categories that I stuck to on my channel. But then over the course of 2020 and 2021, I found out that I was misdiagnosed, that I didn't quite fit migraine, so I stopped talking about migraine for the most part. The pandemic hit, and then I was pregnant, and then I had the baby, and then I was pregnant again, so I haven't been out working a lot with my service dog, so my service dog videos have kind of been declining as well. And then POTS got complicated too, because my POTS symptoms were changing a lot with my pregnancy hormone things, and that's normal, but it made it kind of hard to talk to you guys a lot about POTS. So I feel like my whole channel just kind of turned into other. I feel a lot more lost going into my channel than I did back in 2020. So for 2022, I really want to go back to the roots, but then also introduce a couple of things that are wildly new. What I mean by back to roots is have rotating categories to hit every month, roughly every month, like I did before, because that helped me a lot with keeping my channel consistent. But then also, I want to keep that other category so that we can do things that are wildly new. One of those things being, I really want you guys to meet my husband. That was one of the plans. This year, on YouTube, you guys were going to meet my husband. But then what happens? I got knocked up. Everything went to heck. And things got too chaotic to really do all that. Everything went weird. My brain ended up having a leak and all this. So I want you guys to meet him. I want you guys to learn about his disability. I want you guys to learn about the times when I was healthy. I was the caretaker, and he was the one who had the disability. And in terms of categories, before it was like migraine, service dog, and POTS, and other, I'm kind of thinking about doing, instead of migraine, obviously, I'll switch over to pseudotumor, IIH, idiopathic intracranial hypertension, my new diagnosis, and talking more about that. I still want to talk about service dog. I want to bring Buddy back in. I want to get back into service dog stuff and have you guys kind of along the road for the retraining part, or at least update you on it. And then as my third category, have it be like momming and parenting. I do want to talk about POTS. That'll probably fall into the pseudotumor stuff. Doing a lot of hand things right now. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Please leave your feedback below. Let me know what you're here for, what you found me for, and what you want more of. I obviously can't satisfy every single person, but having an idea of what you guys love will be really, really helpful for me as I plan out my content for the next year. Now, Instagram feed posts, let me reposition myself. Oh, prego. I'm uncomfortable. Instagram. I used to be active on Instagram. I posted on my feed all the time. I kind of got really zoned into my life and I stopped taking pictures of things. I started really just living in the moment and not documenting things. So I haven't had photos to share on my feed. So I need to start taking photos again. I want to post on Instagram 3 times a week. And I also want to story more often in the narrative style that I used to story in. I have an excuse. I started doing invisible teeth aligners, and they make it so that when I talk super funny. And they make it so that if I take a picture and I'm smiling, you can see them. Or like if I'm talking in a video, you can see them. So doing stories or taking quick shots for like the IG feed, it started to be really inconvenient because I was constantly taking my aligners in and out trying to do content. And I think that I slowly just stopped doing it. And unfortunately, my consistency on there has suffered because of it. But now we have a regular schedule between my husband and I. We have a much more reliable babysitter. We have baby A situated, and at least the routine with her is it set now. So even when baby B comes in, we've been talking a lot about the plan. We know what's going to happen going into it, roughly. And so we're hoping that we can keep up with that. In addition, Patreon will be getting 2 exclusive posts per week. Patreon also already gets 4 live chats that are typed on Discord every month. That's for butterfly tier and above. And then monarchs and above get like live video chats with me over Zoom. That's twice a month. So I'll keep up with those. I also do a really good job of checking into the Discord server and chatting in there every once in a while, just sporadically. But I also want to get better at just twice a week, put some exclusive content on there for people who are caterpillars and above. Stick them on the Patreon feed and let you guys know what's going on in my life a little bit more through that. For those of you who do not have the financial means to participate in something like Patreon, but you want to be a little bit more involved, obviously, number one thing, Instagram. Instagram will give you a lot. But I have a tier on Patreon that's only $3 a month called the Honey Pot. And that gives you access to the Discord without giving you access to the Patreon feed. So that's an option that's lower budget, where you can still interact with me a lot and you'll just be missing those Patreon exclusive posts. Now, I know that these are big goals. I know that. I know I might be biting off way more than I can chew. That's fine. I'm not expecting perfection from myself. I'm expecting myself to be a woman who is chronically ill, who is still suffering with a disability, who will still have highs and lows, and who's going to be postpartum with a newborn and a 1-year-old. I'm not going to let my physical or mental health suffer for the sake of getting these numbers. But if I don't have a goal, if I don't have something in mind, then it's so easy to just be sick day after day after day and not push through it in order to hit goals. I think that the goals will help me be more consistent with things, and I think I'll be surprised with how much I can do when I actually have certain things in mind. I think right now in my head, it's just all really vague. Everything's really foggy. I'm kind of baby brain. I'm really scattered. There's too many little things getting my attention. And I think I'll do much better on especially Patreon and Instagram if I'm like, I need to hit 3 a week and 2 a week. But then once I do that, it's done and I can feel like my work is complete. You know, up until now, I haven't really had I feel done with work. I feel like I've fulfilled my job. I think that'll help me. It'll help motivate me to do things better and do things faster. But don't worry, I'm not going to hold myself to impossible standards. While we're here, while we're paused, I would like to quickly remind you to subscribe to the channel if you want to be involved in my channel. Turn on your notifications because I post sporadically. I post on Fridays, but who knows what time. Maybe that can be another goal too eventually. I'll post at the same time every Friday. Wouldn't that be weird? But yeah, please subscribe to the channel. Even on YouTube, it does help me a lot. It helps support my family. And if you have goals for 2022, stick them in the comments because I love hearing about your personal life. I love hearing about my audience. I want to know who you guys are. So let me know. Let's talk about Retraining Buddy. Over here. Ooh. This gets harder every week. One reaction that I'm expecting to get from like me saying I want to retrain Buddy is, wait, isn't he a fully trained service dog? Yes, he was, he still is, he's just rusty. A while back, one of my earlier videos on this channel, I did the truth about having a service dog, and I believe, can you even see my finger? It's like right here, it's like right over my head. Stick a card there. I believe that was a video where I talked about it, but I guess kind of a common theme on my channel. Service dogs never stop training. They're always training. And unfortunately, over the last year, I haven't really left my house very much. Buddy is still a great service dog. So at home, he's still tasking. When we're out and about, he's still tasking. If he misbehaves while he's working in public access, you know, he gets distracted by a smell or something, he still corrects very well. But there are little things like needing to do that correction that weren't the case before, that I didn't need to worry about before when I was out with him. And now I need to think about it a little bit more for a lot of reasons, but mostly because he's rusty. So going into 2022, of course, after I heal from the childbirth, I'm expecting a good solid 4 to 6 months postpartum. I need to start the Buddy retrain, the Buddy unrusting. The unrusting. As far as his tasking goes, he has been on point. Outside of what I mentioned last week, which is him alerting the baby, cutest baby and Buddy compilation video ever, their first year of friendship. Don't miss that video, guys. Like, probably worth leaving this video to go to that video, if we're being honest. Dissing my own videos. Outside of that, he hasn't been missing any alerts, even when we're out in a distracting place. And that's great. I mean, that's the hard part. I just miss how effortless it used to be to take him places and how little I had to pay attention to him in busier areas of the store, because that's when I need him to do well. There are a few issues that I want to address when it comes to retraining Buddy. First off, that right now he's bonded to my husband. I've been very sick, going through recovery for my IIH, and also being pregnant. Super pregnant, then I was postpartum, then first trimester kicks my butt, then we have the baby and then now I'm big pregnant. Buddy and I just haven't really been working very much, and because of my health, my husband has been doing Buddy's daily walks. On walks, I like to let him sniff. I don't want him to be on duty. I don't want him to be there in the counterbalance handle helping me balance. That's not the point of his fun walks, so that's what we do for his walks. If we go on walks together, I'm super pregnant, so I use the stroller for balance at this point, and my husband will take the dog. When it comes to public access, this isn't a problem because he knows that he's holding a heel with me the entire time. But usually when we walk around in public, if it's both my husband and I there, we'll put Buddy in between us because otherwise people do the drive-by pet thing. So that's just to kind of block him from other people. Now that he's a little bit more bonded to my husband, if I leave with just Buddy, Buddy will kind of check back to see where my husband is. And then when we're reuniting with my husband later, he gets very excited to see my husband. I love it, but I don't want to have to deal with that. And he used to really truly understand that on duty was with me. He does truly understand that I'm the one he has to watch. I'm the one he has to task with. I'm the one he has to alert. But he seems to kind of want the pack together to an extent. And I don't know if it's necessarily my husband or maybe it's the baby, since my husband has the baby. Maybe he's looking at the baby. But that's something I want to address. And I think the best way to address it is just to do a lot of training with him and I, and just get our bond back the way that it used to be. And have that bond extend beyond the borders of the house, because I need to leave the house more. I think I was just spoiled before. It used to be so effortless. I didn't really have to pay attention to him at all. I did, to praise him, to give him pets and all that, but it's just a lot less passive now. Buddy and I also used to have like patterns to our trips. I would like take him to the park and he would sprint around and we would practice a lot of recall and play fetch, and then he would come in and I'd brush him, and then we'd go and we'd do a grocery trip or whatever. You know, he had stuff that he did really regularly, so he got really good at it. And so then he did a good job generalizing when we went to another store. And I think we're missing that. So like routines, just in general. Second thing to address for Buddy's retraining is we've been having so many issues with other dogs, guys. Strikes a nerve just a little bit. A lot of it. Off-leash dogs in our neighborhood are charging us like all the time. And then also dogs in stores are just getting more and more reactive than they were before. We're seeing increasing amounts of misbehavior in stores. Buddy is fine. He hasn't gotten hurt or anything. Not recently. Not anything I haven't told you guys about before. But lately, all of the interactions with other dogs in our neighborhood have been negative. We live in a neighborhood where there are still homes being built. And unfortunately, all these new people are coming in and they're just letting their dogs off leash. I can't tell you how many times I've been chased by other dogs. I'm terrified to take Buddy around the block because we don't have any paths that are safe from dogs that have come running at us before. It's terrifying because they're not always friendly. And even if they are friendly, you don't know whether or not they're friendly when they're coming at you. And when your dog is a service dog, and you know that your life depends on it, and you know that one bad, dog situation could completely disrupt your independence, there's a lot on the line. And people in the neighborhood, unfortunately, aren't respecting that. And so we're running into a situation in our neighborhood where Buddy is now expecting dogs to lunge at him and bark at him and sometimes come and approach us. And that's not how it should be when there are other dogs around. It used to be that dogs were on leashes. And so even if they barked or lunged, at least Buddy was safe. But now we're actually getting approached. We're actually getting charged. And I'm super pregnant. And it's just a scary situation. So that's also part of why my husband does all the walks now. It's just not safe. I've literally had random dogs on my porch. On my porch. Why is your dog off leash and on my porch? In addition to the neighborhood problem, we're having a lot of dog reactivity in stores. Dogs used to be really neutral at stores. Even Buddy seemed to understand that dogs inside stores were more neutral than dogs outside of stores. Buddy has his work mode and his not work mode. Outside he would get excited to see another dog, but inside he would totally ignore the dog. Or at least the dogs would just sort of glance at each other and walk past. That is not the case anymore. I actually went to the grocery store just a couple of weeks ago. I didn't have Buddy with me, and there was a dog barking and lunging. And there wasn't even another dog there. It was just barking and lunging in the grocery store. So now when I go to the store, I get kind of an anxiety around bringing Buddy, and I start thinking about whether or not I should bring Buddy because I'm nervous that there's going to be another dog there that is not very well behaved. I'm not fake spotting. I'm not saying it's a fake service dog. If it's having a bad day and it's a real service dog, we're not going down that path. But if Buddy starts seeing those kinds of behaviors in stores, and then he starts behaving like that in stores, or it just continues to increase his apprehension about other dogs approaching him, then we're going to really run into a problem. The last time I was in a store with Buddy and we ran into another dog, it was a guide dog. Now, guide dogs, in my opinion, I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion, but to me, guide dogs are like medical alert dogs, but like 2.0. They're like level up. So that dog was fantastic. Buddy did fantastic. Everyone ignored each other. We walked right by. Everything was fine. Like, they were walking in while I was walking out. Usually I do like the courtesy aisle thing. I try to make it so that there's a lot of space between us, but it wasn't possible in that hallway. Everything was totally fine. So all the fears I realize are my own, but the problem is Buddy will pick that up. And so I need to make sure that I talk to a trainer, I get myself, my mind, my anxiety right around this whole topic before I bring Buddy into other situations with other dogs, because now I'm gonna be his inhibitor. Tough to explain. Basically right now, I realize that we're at a crossroads and I don't want it to go the wrong way, so I'm gonna try really hard to make it go the right way. That's what I'm trying to say. The other thing is, like, I feel like there are a lot of stores that are just randomly allowing untrained pets, and I don't know if they're just not vetting service dogs anymore, or people aren't asking about service dogs, or too many people are faking service dogs and claiming that their dogs are service dogs, but there are like some straight up pets in stores. It's just so much on the handler to have another dog there that's not behaving like a service dog if you have a service dog who's there and on duty and trying to work. It's just harder. It's not impossible, it's just harder. And it runs the risk of the dog watching because, like, Target, for example, I took Buddy to Target. There was a dog who was not a service dog inside the store. I believe was not a service dog inside the store. So it was on a long line. Buddy and I came out of an aisle and the dog was like literally a foot from Buddy. It's like, keep your dog away from my dog. My dog's trying to work. It's fine to be exposed to other dogs in the store, but he shouldn't be exposed to dogs that are kind of like wandering around on their own on like a super long lead. Ugh. Ugh. Stop. It's a personal pet peeve. Last but not least with the Buddy retraining is smells. Just in general. Wah. I hiccuped a little bit there. Just in general, smells. Buddy is really interested in the smells of other humans because we haven't been seeing a ton of other humans. We haven't been going into a bunch of stores. Like, he hasn't been getting exposed to a million other human smells in the way that he used to be. And that's really like a curiosity thing. It's mostly with like clothes that are on racks. He wants to smell everybody's hands, where everybody was touching. Thankfully, this isn't happening with food. He doesn't have the curiosity about food. He's still ignoring food like a champ. And he will ignore like racks of clothes if I tell him to, but I want to get back to the part where I didn't have to tell him to when he was on duty and we were out. That part's gonna be easy. That's just exposure. He's been trained to ignore that stuff before. That stuff, I'm confident, will come back quickly, but it's something that I want to address because, once again, I want this to be effortless. I want to be able to keep my eyes off of him like I used to be able to. So that's gonna be another part of the plan. I do want to take you guys along for the ride with me. I do at least want to update you, let you guys know what kinds of things we've been working on, but we'll see what the new year brings. I don't anticipate I'm going to be working heavily with Buddy until at least the spring, because right now it's, I think, like in the single digits out there, degrees. Not interested. Fahrenheit for my international friends. I've got to heal from the pregnancy and all that first, but I'm excited to see Buddy back in that position again and see him really rocking it again. It's great that, like, the working from home that we've been doing has been working. It's been helping. We'll work here, we'll work outside. He'll come out with me still every once in a while, but I'm not really moving, so he's not really moving, and that's unfortunately what happens to service dogs when they don't get to work very much. They just get rusty. I have tons of hope, though, because he's still correctable. He's still so easy to correct. It's instant. So I'm honestly, like, excited for it. I'm looking forward to it because I know that I can help him excel. I know I can help him succeed. And there aren't like red flag behaviors at this point. So I'm like actually very stoked. I think we're gonna rock this. All right, well, as always, I blabbed way longer than I wanted to. Hi, I'm Jen. Welcome to my rambling channel, the Jen Rambles channel. But quick reminders at the end here for things that are upcoming. Let me check my notes. Physical and mental health, that's both IIH and birth. Make sure you're subscribed, don't want to miss that. I think that'll be in January. And then the other big thing you can look forward to, 2022, my husband, get my husband on here. My fingers are so crossed that we can make that happen in a way that you guys feel like you get to know him. We do want to tell you guys about his disability and like that story and everything, but we also want to talk about like the caregiver and caretaker relationship, because we're in a unique position where we have both been the disabled person and we have both been the caretaker. So we've had a lot of deep talks with each other about how we feel in each of those shoes, and so it's made us really sympathize and empathize with both sides of this equation, and I think that's why our relationship has become so strong through my disability. I just want to talk about it in case it helps some of you, because I don't think I'm any like guru or anything, but I want to help how I can, and if I don't share what I know and what we've learned, then there's no way that this information gets out. I can't promise it'll be helpful for you, but I hope that we can help someone. Make sure you're subscribed, turn on your notifications, give the video a thumbs up, comment below, congratulations if I'm still pregnant and made it to 37. I'm wishing you all a happy, healthy, prosperous 2022. Happy New Year. Don't go too crazy tonight and don't drive drunk. I definitely won't be driving drunk because I'm pregnant. And that's the only reason. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Okay, it's just a joke. All right. Love you guys.